Hello everyone, it's me Rizzyrez, and this is the definitive Ben 10 alien tier list, at least to me. This is my definitive tier list of what I think the best aliens are, just ranking from S to F. I figured the last tier list I did needed a bit of updating, so let's do another one. So this is the definitive Ben 10 tier list, 2024 edition, let's go. Starting off with our first alien being Heat Blast, and I'm gonna be honest, he deserves an automatic S tier in my eyes. I rewatched the classic series pretty recently, and I just realized how cool Heat Blast was in the classic series. Heat Blast was so sick, and his voice and his scenes were just amazing. Wildmutt, I'm giving a B tier too. He's a big dog, and that's pretty much it, but I like him for that. Diamond Head is my favorite alien, so he's going into S tier, and he's not moving from that first place spot. I'll make a whole video about Diamond Head in the future, but I just love this Petro Sapien. Whenever I see him on screen, I know he's going to do something cool, and he's probably the most consistent alien. Accelerate is going into A tier. I think what kind of takes it down for me is his Omniverse design, because I'm not really too big of a fan of his Omniverse design, but Accelerate in the classic series was so awesome. Everyone knows the scene that I'm talking about when he stops time in the Unnaturals. Like, that is the Accelerate scene. Grey Matter is going right into B tier, right below Wildmutt. Sorry Grey Matter fanboy, but he's just here for me. I bumped it up a little bit just for you as well. Grey Matter is cool and he's got some fun scenes, but I am just so sick of that gag where he tries to turn into Forearms or Diamond Head and then he just pans down to Grey Matter. It's good for the first few times, but after you do it every single time, it's a little bit tiresome. Forearms goes into A tier, right below Accelerate. I feel like I would have put him in B tier beforehand, but A tier after watching the classic series again, I love classic Forearms. I think it has to do with Richard McGonagall's voice acting because he has a great performance as Forearms, but also any scene with Forearms in it was just badass. Stinkfly goes into B tier above Wildmutt. I didn't realize this before, but Stinkfly in the classic series was actually so cool. And he appeared a lot as well because he was basically Ben's only flying alien. But for now, B tier is all I can give him. Ghost Freak goes into B tier below Stinkfly. I didn't realize this until I rewatched Classic, but he doesn't actually show up as much as I thought he did in Classic series. And while his appearances were cool and I love the Ghost Freak arc, that more has to do with the characters the scare and not necessarily the alien himself. The actual alien is still cool, but I think I can only put him in B tier. Ripjaws also goes in B tier right above Stinkfly. This is a little bit of my personal bias talking, but I think Ripjaws is such a cool alien. And it's a shame that he doesn't get used that much in the Classic series. I want to put him higher, but unfortunately this is only where I can put him. Upgrade goes right to the top of A tier. Everyone knows why Upgrade is great, and I don't think anyone can put him below an A tier. He's an alien that can take over technology and upgrade it. Like, that's so cool, come on. Moving on from the original 10, we have Cannonbolt, and I think he goes right up into S tier. Cannonbolt's such a fun alien. He's a big yellow roly-poly. And while the episode he was introduced in my opinion, was not that great, I still think he made a cool entrance. Plus, that scene at the end of Grudge Match when Kevin was about to kill Ben and then he turned into Cannonbolt was one of the coolest scenes in Season 2, in my opinion. Wildvine goes right below Ghost Freak. Fortunately, just didn't really get used that much, and while I like Wildvine, he just didn't really get to use some of his powers. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, we're having a little bit too much favoring to the B tier, so I think Wildvine, Wildmutt, and Grey Matter might have to go down to C tier. Sorry, Grey Matter fanboy, but I gotta make it a little bit more fair. Although the fact that this is all even is kind of bothering me. So, Snarrow, Blitzwolfer, and Frankenstrike all kind of go into C tier for me. They're all basically the same alien in my opinion, and I was kind of salty that we didn't really get to see them at all in the classic series. I will say though, Frankenstrike is probably my favorite out of these because he did have the coolest scene in the classic series, and yes, I know a lot of my opinions are based off of the classic series, but these are the classic aliens, so that's obviously where I'm going to judge them from. But yeah, overall C tier. They're not bad, it's just I wish we got to see more of them. Upchuck goes right into A tier. Upchuck is a great alien. Eating stuff and then spitting it out while kind of a gross power is honestly so cool. Waybig I think goes into A tier right with Forearms. He has kind of the opposite problem of Forearms. Where Forearms is used too much, I don't think Waybig is used enough. Ben could solve so many of his problems by using Waybig, but he just straight up doesn't. Why? We'll never know. Ditto is going right into B tier at the top of it. He mainly gets this spot because Divided We Stand is such a great episode, and also just Ditto in general is such a great character because of Rob Paulson's voice acting. Guy goes into B tier right above Ghost Freak. He's a cool alien and I love that he has all them different powers, but I don't really have too much of an opinion on him since we only see him once in the classic series and we don't really see him that much outside of it, but I still think he's a great alien. Spitter, I feel like is not really fair to rank amongst this tier list, but I'll still rank him, and I'll just put him in C tier with the Monsters Aliens. I know you guys like Spitter, but can't really rank him because he gets 12 seconds of screen time. Buzzshock, I think, is a D tier. Sorry guys, but I really do not care about Buzzshock at all. How I look at it is that D tier is just aliens that I don't care about, and F tier is aliens that I genuinely don't like. So if I put an alien in D tier, it's not because I think it's bad, it's just that I don't really care about them. Arctic Iguana is honestly my favorite future alien. I actually really like Arctiguana, so I'm gonna put him right below Ripjaws.
Nice.
He was the OG ice alien, and I just love the gag of Absolute Zero. Now moving on to UAF, we got Swampfire, and I think he goes right up into S tier, although the question is, does he go above or below Heat Blast? I think I made my decision, and I think he goes above Heat Blast. After watching the classic series, yes, my opinion on Heat Blast has elevated a lot, but I also rewatched UAF, and also Swampfire is just awesome in that series. And I know, very controversial, but I actually like his blossomed look. I actually like the episode that it was introduced in. It actually makes sense why he has that kind of look. Let me clear up, I don't think it's better than the original. I think they're just as good as each other. But I like that they did something like this to an alien. Echo is right above Ditto.
Nice.
I know some people think that Echo is like miles better because he's got better powers than Ditto. He can clone himself without like feeling the pain of his other clones, and he has extra powers, but Ditto's personality is just so great. And Echo is still a great alien, but he just doesn't have a personality. Humongosaur, sorry guys, but I'm putting him into S tier. Yes, I know if you've seen my facts video, you'll know that he's the most used alien in the series. 89 times is crazy. But like, Humongosaur is great. His Omniverse design is not that great, but UAF Humongosaur was peak. There's a reason why Ben liked this alien. Jetray goes right at the bottom of A tier. I really wish they put Jetray in Omniverse because Jetray is such a cool alien, but the one thing I mainly wanted out of Jetray is to see him swim. He's called an aerophibian, and apparently he can swim faster than he can fly, and he is Ben's fastest alien. Using him in Deep would have been the perfect episode to use him in, especially since Agrigor was escaping Piscis. But nonetheless, Jetray's still a cool alien. Big Chill I think goes right at the top of A tier. I don't actually mind his Omniverse design now. I don't have a strong opinion on it, and I think it's perfectly fine. But still, UAF Big Chill is peak. Save the Last Dance is one of the best episodes in Alien Force, and I think out of the two flying aliens, Big Chill definitely takes the cake. Chromastone's an interesting one, because while I like him and I think he's a cool alien and I think he has cool powers, he's the most dogged on alien in UAF. There's so many points when Ben uses him and he just does absolutely nothing with him, and he's also the only alien that Ben has died twice as. So I think because of that continuous beating, I'm gonna have to put him in B tier, right below Eye Guy. If we just got to see Chromastone be a lot more useful, I would have put him so much higher, but he just gets obliterated. And it doesn't help that Feedback is one of the coolest aliens and they have very similar power sets. And also the Secret of Chromastone is a mess of an episode. Brainstorm, after watching UAF, has degraded my opinion, but after watching The Avengers and Omniverse, it has upgraded my opinion, so basically it stays the same, and I think Brainstorm goes right below Chromastone. Brainstorm is just there, in my opinion. He's just there. But I still like him because the Cerebro Crustaceans are a cool species in the Ben 10 series. Spider Monkey was my favorite alien growing up as a kid, but right now, I think he is at the top of A tier. I know some people may find him annoying, but I think he's that playful alien that the Alien Force playlist needs. Also, it's Spider-Man. Come on. Goop is one of my favorite aliens, I've got to be honest, and I'm going to put him at S tier. Sorry, I know some of you guys are going to get mad at this, but Goop is such a great alien. He is one of the most visually interesting aliens to look at. I love that fact of the Goop flavors if you see my last video. And Goop is just straight up cool. Come on, man. Alien X, I feel as if I can only put him at A tier. I wouldn't really feel him right putting at B tier or S tier, so A tier is where I'm going to put him. Where he goes specifically, it doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to put him at the top. The reason why Alien X is cool is because Ben has all that power. It makes it so that Ben is a better hero for not using him. But that's the problem. So many of Ben's problems can just be fixed with Alien X, but he doesn't use them, especially when you think it is absolutely necessary to. When the incursions took over the planet, when Malware was destroying Galvan Prime, when Agrigor was about to absorb the Celestial Sapien, when Ultimate Kevin was about to kill everyone, when Dagon was about to take over the world, when Vilgax was about to take over the world all the 20 times that he was going to do that. So you see my point. He just doesn't get used when you feel like he absolutely should. But it does make Ben a better hero for not using him. Lloydstar is such an underrated alien, but just because he's underrated, I can't put him in S tier, so he goes into B tier. Where he goes exactly, I would put him below Eye Guy. He has such an overpowered power set when you think about it, because how many technology things are in the Ben 10 universe that are made out of metal that he could just straight up control. And he also has regeneration and flight, but Ben just does not use Lloydstar. But I do love that he is the first alien that 16-year-old Ben used in Omniverse. Wrath is going straight into S tier, right above Swampfire. Wrath is probably my second favorite alien. He's just so great. Everyone knows why Wrath is a great alien. If you dislike Wrath, then you've truly never seen Wrath in action. He has some of the best and most comedic scenes ever, most notably from Prisoner 775 is Missing, and also Many Happy Returns. And he's also just a strong alien in general. Wrath, S tier. Nanomech is going in D tier. I honestly couldn't give two craps about Nanomech. He could be gone, and I would not care. I do like that he was introduced in Alien Swarm though. That is a cool thing about him, because I did watch that movie a lot when I was a kid. Now, I love Ultimate Alien, so I'm a bit biased towards the Andromeda 5, so I'll try to keep my opinions as critical as I can. Amphibian goes into B tier in between Octagon and Ripjaws. I love his episode that he was used in. I like that he gets a cool transformation sequence, and the fact that he can read minds is a power that Ben never uses, but it's such a cool thing that he has. NRG also goes into B tier, right above Amphibian. I feel like I liked NRG a lot more like a few years ago, but nowadays he's just the same as Amphibian. Water Hazard, I think, also goes into B tier, but above Ripjaws. I like that Ben finally has a water alien that can shoot water, and I love his Omniverse design as well. Armadillo goes into C tier. I just don't really care too much about Armadillo. As an alien, I think he's alright. I like Andreas as a character, and I love his powers, but Armadillo is just a C tier for me. Terraspin is actually like the second most used alien out of the Andromeda 5, which is pretty interesting to me, but I say he goes right into B tier with the rest of the Andromeda 5 aliens. I like that he's such a peaceful little turtle. I like his whole vibe. He's so calm. And also Escape from Agrior with Galapagos, which is just a good episode. Now we get into these 5 aliens. Let's start off with Clockwork actually. Clockwork I think goes into A tier with Alien X. I really like Clockwork, and I think that's a cool take for a time-based alien. I like all the clock and like gong ticking sounds that he makes in Omniverse, and I like when his little head thing spins whenever he's using his powers. Move on to Edel next. I think despite being an Upchuck clone, he's still kind of cool, but I can only put him at the bottom of B tier. I like his Omniverse design. It's really cool, but his UAF design is just so bare bones and bland, and he doesn't really do that much, but I still like Edel nonetheless. This is where it gets interesting. Chameleon. I can only put him in D tier. I'm sorry. He literally only gets used 3 times in the whole franchise. And out of those 3 times, he only shouts his name once. And out of those 3 times, Ben himself never shouts his name. Because in Night of the Living Nightmare, that was actually an Albedo's dream. The first appearance was just a cameo at the end of his introduction episode. The second appearance, he sneaks into a hotel and then just immediately turns back to Ben. And then the third appearance, he basically just does the same thing in a forest. I'm sorry, but Chameleon, I can only put him in D tier. Fast Track, I'm actually going to put in C tier. This is pretty surprising if you've seen some of my older videos, because you'll know that I used to absolutely hate Fast Track. But I think it's just fine that Ben has another speed alien. He doesn't need to be like better than Accelerate. He can just be another speed alien. Also, I have a personal attachment to Ben 10 Galactic Racing. But yeah, I think it's fine that Ben has another speed alien. Now, this alien though, Jury Rig, is a straight F tier. I'm sorry, I just don't think I can find anything redeemable about Jury Rig. He's the only alien that I would actually say I dislike. His UAF design is awful. It's actually awful. His UAF personality is awful. His Omniverse design is weird. Why does he have clothes? That's just my main question. Why can the Omnitrix make clothes? I like Uprig. That fusion is cool. But Jury Rig is an awful alien to see on screen. And I have no apologies for that. I hate this little gremlin who doesn't even have any like... What is his powers? Like what is his powers? I just do not like this alien. Shock Squatch though, I do like. And I'm gonna put him in A tier, right in the middle. I like his Canadian accent, and I like that we have an alien that's a Sasquatch. Because I don't know, it's a cool creature. Feedback is an S tier. I'm sorry, but like Feedback's an S tier in my opinion. He gets shoved down our throats a lot, yes. That doesn't deny that Feedback still has some awesome scenes. He's got great powers, great voice. He's got his own theme song. While yes, people will call him overrated, you can't deny that he's still cool. Blocks. I actually like Blocks. I don't know why. I would put him in B tier somewhere. Where exactly, I'm not sure. Probably right here with the Andromeda 5. I think that Blocks is just a fine alien. I oddly like him. I don't necessarily like that he looks exactly like Legos. I think that could have been changed a little bit to maybe make his design more akin to like Earth and rocks and stuff like that. He's a goofy silly alien in a goofy silly show. If he was introduced in Ultimate Alien or Classic, I probably wouldn't like him as much, but since he was introduced in Omniverse, I'll give him a pass. Gravitack is an S tier. Gravitack's an awesome alien. He's got awesome powers, he's got an awesome voice, he's got awesome everything. Crash Hopper's in B tier and sits right here around the middle. I think he's probably one of the most grounded aliens, which is funny because he jumps. I love that they just made a classic-like alien. His power is that he jumps, and that's pretty much it. And I love that for him. Ball Weevil, I honestly do not care about Ball Weevil, so I'd put him right in the middle of C tier. Walker Trout goes right at the bottom of C tier. Same thing, I just do not care about him. Pesky Dust, I actually think is cool. I'd put Pesky Dust at B tier. I think Pesky Dust's powers are really interesting and kind of OP if Ben just used Pesky Dust more, because he can put people to sleep and look inside their dreams, which is pretty useful in a lot of situations, but Ben doesn't use them a lot. But yeah, Peskyos is B tier. Molstache is like Ball Weevil, and I do not care about him, so C tier, I suppose. The worst is going into D tier. He's not the worst, he's like the second worst. I don't like that they literally named him the worst. That's not a good name. I personally chose to rename him as Bland Bag because he's a sandbag who's bland and has nothing going on for him. But the worst is just not a good name. Also, why does he have underwear? That's just weird. Kick and Hawk is a B tier. I put him right around this section with these bipedal aliens. I like that he's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, and I like that Ben is a skilled martial artist alien, because I'm a big fan of martial arts myself, and I like birds. Topic is a D tier. So worst is actually the third worst now. But Topic, why is he the way he is? That's just my main question. I mean, yeah, his face is scary, but I don't think anyone really likes Topic, so I hope this is a fine choice. Astrodactyl is a C tier alien. They try to replace Jet Ray, but you can't really replace Jet Ray. But I also don't hate Astrodactyl like a lot of other people do. I still think Astrodactyl is somewhat cool and he has some interesting powers, but I do like that he's from the same home planet as Humongousaur though. Bullfrag I put straight into B tier, but near the top. The Frogs of War is one of the best series finale in my opinion, and I love his sort of mob boss New Yorker accent. I just wish Bullfrag got used more. Now Atomics is going into C tier. I think Atomics is fine, but he could have been cooler. I'm not really too big of a fan of his voice and his whole vibe that's going on, but I still think Atomics is a fine alien. I like that he's got nuclear powers like NRG, and he actually leans into the more like nuclear chemical aspects, but Atomics, he could have been cooler. Gutrot. I think Gutrot goes like up here with NRG. I know a lot of people don't really care about Gutrot, but I think Gutrot is a really, really cool alien. I love that Ben has an alien that can literally just make a gas of anything. And like literally anything. I put him in my perfect playlist because I thought he'd just be really useful for that. And if he really leans into all of his powers, Gutrot can be so overpowered. And finally, Vampire goes right with the Monsters Aliens because I honestly do not care about Vampire. Vampire could just not exist and I probably wouldn't say anything. And that is it. That is the completed and the definitive 2024 Ben 10 tier list. Now there is 9 aliens in the S tier, so if I had to pick a 10 for the top 10, I'd probably put Spider Monkey because Clockwork and Alien X I kind of just put up there because they're like powerful aliens I didn't really know where to rank in this. So my top 10 would be Spider Monkey, and then from Feedback to Diamond Head. But that is it. Let me know what you thought of my tier list. I know my opinions are kind of whack to some people, so if you disagree with this, please leave below what your favorite alien is and your least favorite alien. If you watched all the way to the end, I gotta thank you for that, so please consider dropping a sub. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers. We're really close to it. I think we can make it. And yeah, that's all I already got for now. So I'm Rizzyrez, and until next time, I'll see you later. Peace.